Welcome back, class. So we're going to continue with the next section from chapter 2, which is percentage. Our learning objectives are to define percent as it pertains to pharmacy calculations and convert percentages to decimal. So a percent expresses the number of parts compared with a total of 100 parts. The word percent means per 100 or hundreds. A percent is the same as a fraction in which the denominator is 100. Okay, so keep that in mind. The percent is represented by the following symbol. Percents can be visualized by comparing a stack of 100 pennies equivalent to $1. So in the following figure, you'll see a dollar and then you'll see the stack of pennies. So if you look at the third drawing, it says 5% of $1. So you have the dollar and you see how only the back part is faint, and then there's only a certain part that is, you could see it darker. So that signifies 5 pennies. So 5 pennies of $1. So that would be 5% of that dollar. And the next one, you see 40 pennies stuck in front of the dollar bill. And you see that only 40% of the dollar is visible. So that's 40% of the dollar. As well as the 100 pennies stacked, you'll see the full dollar amount because it's 100% of that dollar. A percent can be written as a ratio or fraction or decimal. So remember, first we talked about fractions. In the last section we talked about ratios. That is another way of performing a fraction. Now another way of visualizing a ratio and a fraction is also visualizing it as a decimal point. For example, so we have 30%, means that there are 30 parts in a total of 100 parts. So we can write the 30 parts in 100 as a ratio. So we have 30 to 100, or we can write it as a fraction, which is 30 over 100. Or we can write it as a decimal, which is 0.30. Or again, the percentage, 30%, with the percent symbol. So these are all the same value. So if you have an exam with 100 questions and you receive an 89% in that exam, that means that you got 89 questions out of the 100 correct. So again, how would you write 89% as a ratio, fraction, and decimal? So you'll just put remember it's 89% means per 100. So 89 to 100. Or the 89 would be the numerator and the denominator would be the 100. So 89 over 100. Or 0.89 as a decimal. Or again, back to our percentage, which is 89%. So percent strengths are often used to describe intravenous solutions and topical applied medications. The higher the percentage of dissolved substance in a solute or a topical medication, the greater the strength. The following example may be expressed as a 1 to 100, 1 over 100, or 0.1. A 1% solution contains 1 gram of medication per 100 ml of fluid. So again, keep this in mind. Whatever number is in front of the percent symbol will always be that number per 100. And in this case, it's a solution. So any solution will always be 1 gram, always grams, over the 100 ml, since this is a solution. If it were a cream, it would be 1 gram per 100 grams. Okay, so keep always that in mind. Anything that it's a percentage, you want to convert it, it'll always be grams per that 100 mLs of whatever units that is. In this case, it's a solution, so it's mLs. So in this example, convert the percent xylocaine to a ratio and then convert the grams to milligrams. So we're doing two things here. First converting it to a ratio and then converting the grams to milligrams. So we're looking at our percent, which is right here, 1%. So let's make that into a ratio first. So again, what did we say? Anything percent will always be over 100. So first of all, our percent is, in this case, our ratio would be 1 grams per 100 mLs. Now it's telling us to convert that to grams to milligrams. So from what we know is that there's always, in 1 gram, there's always 1,000 milligrams, okay? So then just converting that will give us 1,000 milligrams per 100 ml. Now we're reducing our medication, so we can reduce it by 100. So divide 100 by 100, 1,000 by 100, and we get 10 milligrams per 1 ml. Converting a ratio to a percentage. To convert 5:1, 5 to 1 to a percent, we need to make an equivalent fraction. So make it 5/1 with the denominator of 100. To achieve this, we multiply the numerator and denominator by 100. So we get 50%. A faster way to convert a ratio to a percent is to first write the ratio as a fraction, then multiply by 100, and finally add the percent sign. So if we have a 5:1, convert it to a fraction, 5/1 times 100. So 500/1 is equal to 500%. 1/5, 1/5 as a fraction times 100. So 100 divided by 5 gives us 20%. 1 to 2, it's 1/2 times 100 gives us 100 divided by 2 is equal to 50%. Converting a percent to a ratio. So the opposite way. To convert a percent to a ratio, first change it to a fraction by dividing the percent by 100. Then reduce the fraction to the lowest term. So express this as a ratio by making the numerator to the first number of the ratio and the denominator by the second number. So if we want 2% into a ratio, so we'll divide 2 by 100 and convert it to a fraction, so 2/100. Reduce this by 2, so you get 1/50. So remember the fraction converts into a colon, so 1 to 50 would be your conversion from percent to ratios. 10% is equal to 10 divided by 100, or 10/100. Reduce it by 10, you get 1/10, and that'll give us a ratio 1 to 10. 75% is equal to 75 divided by 100 is equal to 70/100. Reduce, and you get 3/4, and that'll equal 3 to 4. 1%. So you divide 1/2 divided by 100, it's 1/2/100. Same thing as doing reciprocal. So reciprocal of 100 would be 1/100. You would multiply, and you get 1/200 is equal to 1 to 200. Converting a percent to decimal. So to convert a percent to a decimal, drop the percent symbol and divide the number by 100. Dividing a number by 100 is equal to moving the decimal point 2 spaces to the left and inserting zeros if necessary. So don't forget your leading zeros, okay? So for example, the first one, 4% is equal to 4 divided by 100. So our leading zero is 0.04. Like the second phrase here said to also move the decimal places 2 spaces to the left. So if you see the 4, if I have an imaginary point after it, we would move it 2 spaces forward. So that would give us 4, 0, and then a decimal. And again, don't forget that leading zero, which would be that leading zero. 15% is equal to 15 divided by 100 is equal to 0.15. The same thing as moving it 2 spaces to the left. So that would be 1, 2. Our point would go there and we wouldn't forget our leading zero. 200% is equal to 200 divided by 100 will give us 2.0. Converting decimals to a percent. So remember we moved the decimal spaces 2 spaces to the left to convert from percent to decimal. Now we would move the spaces 2 spaces to the right to convert from decimals to a percent, and then we would just add the percent symbol. So 25, move our decimal 2 spaces to the left will give us 25%, or if you want to use your math, you would just multiply by 100. So 0.25 times 100 give us 25%. 1.35, 2 spaces to the right would give us 135%. 0.015, 2 spaces to the right would give us 1.5%. Or like we said, either multiply that by 100. So let's practice. Express the following fraction as a percent. Round to the nearest whole number. So again, the first thing we would do is divide, and then move our decimal spaces 2 spaces to the right. Okay, so the answer would be 86%. Okay, so we're done with this section, so we'll move on to the third section in this chapter. See you in a short time. Bye.